When it comes to the Indian football team going to the Asian Games in 2023, what started off, truth be told, as a very feel-good story has ended up souring considerably as the civil war between the AIFF as well as the clubs that constitute the top league, the Indian Super League, has taken a turn for the worse and in fact forced the federation to name pretty much an entirely different, very new look side for the Asian Games. It left a lot of fans disappointed because most rightfully reckon that having the best squad available would be the best way to be in contention for a medal, but unfortunately the squad that was named featured a lack of top players. And when I say top players, I don't just mean those who are under 23s, but also those of the three players who would be allowed who are above the age of 23. Now, you remember that while Sunil Chhetri was in fact named the captain, there was nary a mention of Gurpreet Singh Sandhu and Sandesh Jhingan in that new and improved squad. However, there has been good news on at least one front, and that is the fact that Sandesh Jhingan is at least now has been named back in the Asian Games squad that will be going to Guangzhou to take part in this tournament. Why exactly has this come about? Well, we'll get to that in just a bit, but what cannot be denied is the fact that Jhingan adds plenty of steel and experience to this particular side. And not just that, this current side were only looking at having two fit centre backs, given that one of them selected has actually been dealing with an injury. And you'd remember that Jhingan had in fact been previously removed from the squad entirely. He was originally scheduled to be in the squad, then at the last minute there was a little bit of a change and his name was no longer featured in the 11. The good news is he's been added back, and one would hope that this will in fact be the final tweak made to the squad, because there has been so much confusion, so much toing and froing for this particular, let's say, team, that at this point it has gotten almost exhaustive hearing the constant stories, and some of them haven't even been very true. There's been some stories of players being added in which have been outright denied, and so it's been a very arduous task really as an Indian football fan to trawl through all of that coverage. But how exactly did this suddenly become possible? Well, excuse me, the simple thing was that the opening game of FC Goa, which happens to be the club that Sandesh Jhingan turns out for in the Indian Super League, it ended up getting rescheduled. Now, the reason for it getting rescheduled was very, very simple, because it happened to be against a Hyderabad FC side who've also contributed the same number of players to this particular squad that FC Goa have. Both FC Goa and Hyderabad FC have 3 players each who are in that Indian team that will be going to the Asian Games. So what that means was that for both of them really it just made sense that they would push that fixture back a little bit to ensure that the players who have gone will be available for India during the Asian Games. So it is safe to say that a bit of a compromise was reached. Previously, you had FSDL, Football Sports Development Limited, the people who own and run the Indian Super League, actually take a very hardball stance and ensure that no players would be released. And truth be told, whilst you could agree or disagree with the call, they were well within their rights to do it, because as an under-23 tournament, the Asian Games does not fall under the remit of FIFA, let's say a FIFA window. So they were under no obligations whatsoever to release players. But what has happened now is that a bit of a compromise has been reached. Certain games have been rescheduled, and due to that, the players will be able to represent India. And that is something that has not gone unnoticed, because Igor Stimac was very, very thankful for the fact that a compromise of this sort could be reached. The head coach in fact said very, very clearly, it's a wonderful development that some experienced players have been added to the squad. I'm thankful to FSDL and AIFF to making it happen. Now, obviously, as I said, he was very thankful because the team that had been named previously did seem to lack a little bit of experience. It did seem to lack maybe that extra steel that would have been necessary to compete in a tournament like this. Now, I know the Asian Games won't be seeing the highest level of football that you would expect, but it's a lot of Asian teams do feel very good even under 23 sides. And so if you're India, you want to be taking your strongest side possible if you are going to be competing, or you want to be competing for a medal. It doesn't have to be a gold medal, could very well be a silver or even a bronze, but being able to do so would require you to take your best team. And given the number of changes that were made, there was literally no guarantee whatsoever that these changes would in fact be let's say impacting the team in a positive way, which is why now that they've happened, it's very, very good that at long last a little bit of a compromise has been reached, because up until this point there wasn't that much compromising. The AIFF was playing hardball because they said that national interest should trump everything. FSDL said very clearly that, look, we have every right to retain these players and not release them, which is exactly what they were doing. But for the growth and the betterment of the game, it is imperative that both of them came to a middle ground, and this is something of a middle ground. So now one would hope that the head coach Igor Stimac can make let's say make do with what he has and get preparations underway for what should be an extremely exciting time if you're a fan of Indian football. We hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, you can let us know by liking it, sharing it with your friends, subscribing to the channel if you haven't already, and tapping that bell icon as well. You can also leave us a comment, let us know your thoughts on this entire situation, and don't forget to not only download the AajTak app, but follow us across social media. We're on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook as well. Plus, if you're already on the channel, go right ahead and check out some other videos we've done. For now though, from my side, it is bye-bye.